afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the season finale, the 2024 season finale of fantasy football.
Harsh reality.
Now, season.
Congratulations to all the champs.
Yes, congratulations, which includes us. We did it. You won one, I won two. So
you know what? You didn't have to bring that up. We
of
each
course.
won. Why don't we just focus on that we're both winners?
Do you think this point would never be made? We're going to discuss. You were in 3 finals. I was only in 2 finals. And you won the one that is the most important to you, which is the
boom. That's it. Let's just end the conversation right there. I won the one that was the most important to me.
That's true. The League of Record, which is always a fun one to win. For me, I think now the one that's the most important to me is my Comedians League, because it's like the only league I haven't won, and it's my own fucking Comedians League. Yeah. Like I won what I have 3 Comedians Leagues, 3 different groups of comedians. And one of them I won last year, the other one I won this year, and I've never won my own. And not only did I not win my own, I came in last.
Oh, yeah, well.
And the punishment is to perform a stand-up set written by the rest of the league.
So it's like a Colin Jost,
right?
Shea,
Michael Shea,
they write each other's jokes. They have to say some terrible shit. You're going to write some bad.
Yes, they're going to write
really just like shit you wouldn't
embarrassing stuff that I would never say about myself. While they're going to make me say it, which is fine. It's in this league, it is the league where we lost one of our members this year, my dear friend Kabir Singh, and I in fact changed the name to the Kabisi Classic. Going forward for the league, and he and I actually played each other in the toilet bowl, and I didn't set his lineup, and I didn't set my lineup. I just let it play out the way it did, and he, without having a starting quarterback, still beat me in the most from the grave victory in the history of the universe.
That seems purposeful. It really did. Like, I don't know what I believe in, but that seems purposeful.
Yeah, I was like, for you, Kabisi, I will take this bullet. I hope you laugh your
Wilson,
ass off.
Wilson, I'm going to beat you without a quarterback.
Yeah.
Easy.
Kabisi. Could be on his way out the door.
Yeah.
With only one previous win on the entire season. So.
Well, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. We all kind of marveled at that. One of the guys, Dave Williamson, actually did a nice post about it. So, but man, what a season. So many highs, so many lows. I think, one of the things we talk about, first of all, is that week 1 is a mirage. And I think we saw that, especially when it came to like Xavier Worthy, who looked like he was just going to storm the gates and then went on an epic do nothing run until
but he's back now.
Until last week.
Right.
When he got some help. And now all of a sudden it's not all about him, and he's looking great.
Just in time for the playoffs, the real playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah. And now becomes someone that if you have him on your roster, now you're thinking maybe
you might want to keep him.
Might be a keeper. Might be a keeper.
Could be a keeper.
And I actually went and picked him up on one of the teams I dropped him on. So just in case he's the keeper I want him to be. Dobbins came back out of nowhere to help me win.
Now people are saying that he is a shoo-in for the comeback player of the year. Does Joe Burrow qualify? Because if so, then he's got it running away. Like if as the comeback player of the year.
Why would Burrow qualify for it?
Because he was injured last year and missed the end of the season.
But he just missed the end of the season. He didn't miss the whole season.
No, but I don't know. Did Dobbins miss the whole season?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't know what the qualifications are to be.
I don't know what they are. Because I
watched
some clip about how Burrow doesn't qualify to be in the conversation. Okay. I don't know. Maybe that's. I just saw some clip about it. So
right. I'm just curious. I certainly look. If Burrow's not in, if Burrow can't get it, then my vote is for Dobbins. I can't think of anyone else that I would think deserves it.
Yeah, no, he amazing to come back and not only just play well, but be a workhorse back.
75 yards and a touchdown his final week.
The guy really is just I was expecting him to go down I played him every week, expecting him to go down every single week.
Well, you know what? Let's just say anybody who played him, this is a drink to you. Congratulations. You made a move that took balls. It was his first, it's the championship week. Cheers.
Cheers. He got me there. He helped me get up there. He helped me overcome a Blutarski at defense.
Just come off IR.
Team. I almost got butt fucked out of one of my championships by the hat that I'm wearing.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's do that. Let's dive into our specific championship victories. I had a full Blutarski and then 2 terrible performances. I had 3 bad performances, 1 full on Blutarski, and still managed to win the championship by about 20 points.
You know, in movies, there's always this random character that they just kind of intermingled with at the beginning of the movie, and then they show up at the end to save the day.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I feel like for you, I think Jonathan Taylor is that guy.
Jonathan Taylor, I traded for him. That was an incredible trade. I made it.
But he was not doing good all season long. He was an afterthought. It actually took a lot of guts to load him up. And then out of nowhere, he shows up with like 2 touchdowns and
218 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had 56 points in that week.
Yeah,
where I was worried about my brother. Dude, it was like, if you get a player who does that,
who just comes in.
It's so hard to beat that.
Yeah, just flies in out of nowhere and just delivers the victory. And for me in championship week, it was Baker Mayfield. And I know Baker's been good.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes the sun goes round the moon. Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Just when I thought our chance at best, Baker goes and saves the best for last.
Wow. One of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my whole life. To Baker Mayfield.
The Baker man, he delivered a lot of championships.
Keep it up, buddy. It's fun watching you do it, running around out there and zinging. I mean, you're killing it. I love watching.
You know, it's so funny. Around week 4 or 5, when he lost both his receivers, you know, I was stuck with him and Patrick Mahomes, who at that point was delivering 12 to 14 points every single week. And I had to get somebody else.
Panic pivot. Of course. How could you not? You couldn't play Patrick.
I had to get somebody else. One of them had to go. Yeah. And I chose to let go of Patrick Mahomes.
You were right.
Even though he lost, I was like, I know I can count on this fool to keep slinging the ball. And at the end of the day, that is the choice that saved me and delivered a championship.
It was amazing. I mean, when Evans came back, I mean, he was still doing great without both of them. Like,
he was still doing fantasy-wise. He was still delivering, 22 points.
Cade Otton was a thing for a while. Remember? And
he was just getting to whoever was open and just
that's when Jalen McMillan.
Rashad White was but Jalen McMillan started to ascend. Rashad White was getting a lot of catches.
Oh yeah, big time.
He was keeping him alive in that mid part of the season by throwing him the ball.
All right, so listen, before we go too deep into all of our reflections, we have to acknowledge that there are some people out there, and there shouldn't be, but there are some people who are actually still playing. This is week 18. If you are in a good fantasy league, your championship was week 17. I'm sorry if you're playing week 18, if you are.
Yeah.
Let's talk quickly about what teams are actually playing for something. And if there's anybody outside of those teams that we think, if you need, like if you had Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts or Tua or any of these fucking guys or Patrick Mahomes, who are you going to pivot to if you need to pull somebody off the wire?
Yeah. Well, I mean, someone that might actually be on the wire and available is Russell Wilson. And
great one.
And he's still got something to play for. And you might still be able to pick him up, and he might still he's got to play. And it's a foot race. They're playing the Bengals, and I mean, it's going to be a tussle, man.
I still feel though that like Pittsburgh already knows that even if they win, that it doesn't matter for they're not going to get number 1. And Baltimore loses. It's just not going to happen. That's the only thing that would be like relevant. I don't know how long. If Russell takes a couple of big hits, wouldn't you pull
the Ravens play in the first game. So
they'll already know. They'll know.
Yeah.
So then,
but again, you're talking about who is available that matters. there's nobody that matters that's available except for maybe Russell Wilson. I mean,
all right, so teams with something to play for, right? Like,
yeah.
So you've got Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Detroit.
Not getting any of those guys.
Detroit. Well, I'm just saying these other people, the Ravens, Atlanta.
You could grab Michael Penix.
Exactly. This is one guy.
He is not been
You know what? I don't
good.
know.
Now, he's been okay, and he is getting better every game.
Yeah,
but between
like,
him and Russell Wilson, I am putting my eggs in the Russell Wilson basket over
I
the
don't
Michael
think
Penix
Russell.
pick.
Why would you play Russell if there's no point? You may not even have to. You'll know. I doubt he'll even want to play them. They may not even play. I would not trust Russell Wilson. I would trust Bryce Young, or Carson Wentz, or Tyler Huntley. I would take any of those guys over Russell Wilson, only because I know at least those guys are going to play the whole game. And I still don't know who the quarterback is for Cleveland this week.
I wonder if Caleb Williams is going to play this week.
Caitlin Williams?
Caleb Williams.
Oh, Caleb. Caleb, I imagine because he's a rookie that he will play.
Right. And it's a rivalry game against the Packers.
Yeah, it's a great.
Maybe he would be because he's probably definitely available if you're not in a dynasty league. He's definitely on the wire.
I mean, would you? Okay, out of all those players I just mentioned, would you take Penix or Caleb? How about that? Let's just start with that one.
Ooh,
tough one, right?
Ooh, I would go Penix.
Yeah, I think I would too. Just because
Penix looked like the superior thrower last week.
Look, man, you know what it is? It's just that I just have. I'd rather go with the devil that I don't know than the devil that I do know. In this case, I know Caleb. If this is my championship for some fucking reason, I mean, I'll take my chances with Penix.
Well, we've talked about the reason before. Like the stupid ESPN app, their default playoff structure were the 2-week playoffs ending on week 18. And I'll never forget when I discovered this. I had no idea. I thought it automatically did, because
you thought it would automatically do the right thing.
17.
Yeah.
Who does that? So my whole league went to shit because no one knew there was going to be a week 18. Oh my God. It was fucking
maybe Mitch Trubisky, by the way, for Josh Allen. I was just thinking, week 18, because these are the guys who you're playing. If you had Josh Allen, if you had Jalen Hurts, and who's going to play over there? Is it Pickett? Is he okay? I guess he'll play. I mean, maybe they're going to fit him too. They're going to play that other guy.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
McKee, I think, or some random.
Yet another rando that scored on the Cowboys defense. Their starting defense, Mike, the defense that stole a game from the Buccaneers 1 week before this, went out there and got lit up by the second and third QBs. Zero sacks, zero interceptions, zero anything. After
all of the bluster of the week before.
Yeah, we're not quitting. We played the bell, blah, blah, blah.
They pulled CD. I think that really was it. When they pulled CD.
I'm telling you right now, Jerry Jones went to those guys and offered them a bonus to fucking lose so that we would stop sliding in our draft position. We had nothing to play.
Then he even fucked that up. He should have done that a week before.
Totally. Well, I don't think he had the time the week before. I don't think he expected them to go out there and actually play to win
and look good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't. He figured, well, McCarthy's going to lose. I'll be able to fire McCarthy. Now it's a whole thing again. Yeah. Now it's all like, well, can you? Because,
Well, and he had his sights set on Belichick, and Belichick was like, fuck you. I'm going to go be the king over the University of North Carolina with a transfer portal where I can vacuum up transfers, the best players disgruntled from other programs, and put together basically an all-star team of guys that want to play at the next level and knows that he has the contacts.
It's very interesting that this is what's happening now. You got Mike Vick, you got Deion Sanders, you got Bill Belichick. You've got all these fucking people with these amazing connections in the NFL, all taking over coaching in college. Yeah. And everybody, if you're smart,
you go play for them.
Yes.
Wouldn't you
do that?
This is why Nick Saban left. He saw the writing on the wall. Genius.
But Saban is just as good as that.
No,
he doesn't have the NFL. He doesn't have the NFL.
He was great at recruiting and locking players in. So year over year, he was at a championship team. Now you can't just hold on to guys and they can go other places and get actually paid and play.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
And the second that happened, he was like, fuck it, I can't control these guys anymore. They'll just leave if I don't play them.
So hey, quick pin in that for a second. While we're on the subject though of college football, hook 'em horns. Double overtime. What a game. I love this 12-team playoff. I think it's really cool. I think this is what it should have been from the beginning. Now, if the pro overtime rules were the same as college overtime rules, the world would be perfect. I think it would be awesome.
The Texas got a little help from those refs.
Oh, sure. That targeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty clear and obvious targeting. I mean, no doubt about it.
Okay, see, the thing about it is, I would say this. If I were going to make any argument for what the refs decided, it's that the rule specifically says crown of the helmet. Okay? Mm-hmm. And if you look at the content, yes, but his face is up. It's mostly face mask to face mask. It is face to face, yes, totally lots of contact to the head and neck area, but it wasn't like this so much as it was like
I feel like some calls are super obvious regardless of the wording. Like when you see that two faces smashing together really hard, you want to say, well, hey, that is illegal. Like that is not allowed. We don't do that. We don't allow this. You're in trouble if that happens. You need to not do that at all costs. And that's what they're doing.
And considering it was reviewed by the officials.
It was weird.
Okay, it wasn't like they just went with the call, went to the next.
You're right.
They reviewed it and then came back and confirmed it. I believe you got everyone else saying that it was a trash call, and I'm with it. I think it is a trash call. I think the gamblers got to the refs. Yes, but in a situation like that, I feel like the refs need to take the podium and explain the call.
It would be right. I would like that. You're right. They've got the coaches and the players on the winning and the losing teams. All
you got you got former players. You got prognosticators. Everybody saying it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Well, you made the call. You reviewed.
Yeah, you know what? They should be contractually
stuck with the call. Get out here and tell us why.
Contractually obligated to do press conferences, just like the players.
Just like the players. Yes. The refs should have to go out there and be accountable for the thing.
They don't have to do it for every game. They don't have to do that for every game. I'm saying they have to be available for every game, but if there is something controversial and there is a question at the end, there's going to be questions that they have to show up for the presser. Like when Sam Darnold had that face mask.
I think the head ref should have to do it every week, every game, just like the players, all the time.
Yeah,
why not? What? Because you know what it would do? It would minimize this ability to just scurry away and help the gamblers with whatever and be like, I don't know, man. Sorry, guys. No, they would have to stand there and they would tell you what, the next time somebody approaches them with $20,000 to keep it close, they're going to be like, no, I don't want to go through the whole thing with the media.
Yeah.
I think it might be that extra layer, sort of like freedom of the press. It's sort of like freedom of the press. There needs to be some accountability. And I think making them face the media and explain the calls, what they saw and why instead of leaving it, we're using some retired ref in the booth who's saying, I saw targeting. I don't know what they need to show up, face the music and say, they reviewed it.
Yeah, I would say the head ref is the only one that is obligated necessarily to actually get in front of the camera.
He's the one in charge. He's the one that either says yes or no, so it's him.
But I think that the other ones should be there if there was a big call. But I think in the end zone, the head ref.
No. No, you don't. It's just like the team. You only see the head coach. You never get the OC out there saying, "Why was this call made?" DC, why was that coverage made? It's just the head coach.
True. I guess that you got a good point.
So it's the same thing. Head ref, head coach, same thing.
But sure, let's put the ref out there and let's get some accountability in that. I think that would be a wonderful addition to the league. And watching them have to go for two in college in overtime, that would be fun in the pros. And just if you score, well, that's it. I mean, that sucks. That's stupid. Why don't you start them at the 25?
Now it changes in the playoffs, though, right? In the playoffs,
that you have to go for two.
No, I think in the playoffs, regardless of if you score a first touchdown, the other team gets the opportunity to possess the ball in the playoffs.
Now, you're talking about the pros? They are doing that
in the pros.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's the thing. They have futzed with this rule so much. I don't think anybody knows.
Well, if that's true, then we're getting there. Then we're getting there. This is all I want. Is I don't think it's fair that just because somebody won a coin flip, that they should, if they just run down and score, that's it.
Now, in the regular season, it does take a touchdown. Okay, field goal doesn't do it.
Not on the initial possession.
Yeah.
But anything after that, the first score wins.
So in the overtime, in the postseason.
Okay, here we go.
As many 15 minutes periods are necessary until there's a winner. Both teams will now get at least one possession, even if the team that has the first possession scores a touchdown. Just like I said.
Why aren't they telling us? I mean, that's great. I've been wanting this for a while. That's great. I'm glad you knew that.
I think they implemented that last season.
I did not. I was
But
unaware.
It's because, and I think it was controversial last season because people weren't aware that you don't just win on it. If you score the touchdown, game ain't over, but it's only in the playoffs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Should it go through the regular season, or do you think it's perfect playoff rule?
I think it's fine for the playoffs. Because otherwise we're just extending already epically long games.
Yeah, but that's more fantasy points.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something about watching these games in real time? You know, it's one thing when I watch it during the regular season, I'm watching 8 games at a time. So I'm not bothering with commercials ever and everything. But with these bowl games, trying to watch them one at a time in real, it's impossible for me in real. There's so
many commercials,
many fucking commercials, and so many of them are repeat commercials over and I can't do it. I can't. The Cheez-It commercial. Can you just make a new Cheez-It commercial?
Yeah, that's a Baker Mayfield quote they're making fun of. I woke up feeling dangerous. I woke up
feeling cheesy, coach.
You know how long ago that was? That was now, 10 years ago.
On the upside, I'm glad for the actors.
I was going to say the actors are getting great money. Yeah,
it's like that. It's like those kids that were in that Halloween. I don't know if it's Progressive or Geico, where they're like, why don't we jump in the running car? What are you, crazy?
Oh yeah,
let's just go hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go hide in the cemetery.
I mean, it's got to be at least 10 years that's been running. Those kids they have families now. They look totally different, sure.
They've fed their children.
And they're still getting paid. And I'm glad. It's awesome. A great spot, and I'm glad they're getting paid.
That's the dream, baby. That's the dream.
But the Cheez-It one, it's like, come on, guys. This is what it's like. You can't make a new fucking commercial. It's your whole bowl. You got a whole bowl.
But it's like if you're a singer and you come up with a really good holiday song, that's it. You're set for life. That song,
totally.
Mariah Carey is set for life, bro.
I know, but I know the producer of that song.
Yeah, well, he's also set.
Yeah, he's done quite well.
All right, let's talk about who was the ones that got you to the playoffs. Who got you?
All 3 of our championship teams were anchored to one guy, and that was Saquon Barkley.
Hero, MVP, Saquon Barkley, MVP of the season for me, Saquon Barkley.
Once again, Dak Prescott deep 6'd one of my teams and put me in a position of struggling to find a quarterback the rest of the season. So,
well, you know what? Fool me once, right? It's on you now.
Hey, but you know what? The thing is between him and Lamar, and I just hate drafting Lamar because it's so up and down. Even though I was one saying they might go undefeated, I was the one saying that this was going to be a game changer. I was the one saying all that, and he burned me so bad last season that I was like, I'm not taking him. I'd rather take Dak. And well, there you go.
You live, you learn.
They say the season is won and lost on draft day, and that is still very true.
Oh, I disagree with that 100%. The season is definitely not won on draft day. It could be lost on draft day, definitely, but it is not won on draft day. Draft day is great. And that's wonderful. But then injuries, and then you got to work the wire, and you got to work the bye weeks, and you got to work all this other. I mean, it's trades, and it is not about.
But still, the way you draft, you hit on 3 of those guys, and you could keep your season. You could win your league. But if you don't, I mean, like in my Comedians League, the one where I came in last, 1st round pick, Breece Hall. 2nd round pick, Marvin Harrison. 3rd round pick, Travis Kelce. 4th round pick.
While you're doing it, you're thinking, I am going to destroy this league.
Yeah. 4th round pick, Stephon Diggs.
Oh.
5th round pick, Jordan Love. 6th round pick, I picked up CJ Stroud because I was
back to back. Love and Stroud.
Okay, yeah, because here's the thing. I wanted to keep him. The guy, one of the other guys drafted, I knew was going to take Stroud. So I was really just doing it to fuck him. And I thought, no matter what happens, I could trade him later for a really great piece. You know, I'm going to have these 2 great quarterbacks. I'll figure out which one I really want, and I'll trade another one for a marquee piece that I need later.
Right. The issue with your logic was no matter what happens. Right. That was the problem because something happened. Something happened and it mattered.
Yeah. CJ Stroud apparently just decided to suck a dick, and so did Jordan Love. So
it's weird, man.
I wanted my whole top 6 fucking draft picks fucking. So I was screwed.
Well, that's like I say, you could definitely lose. I mean, a lot of people drafted the people who had the #1 overall pick. I'd say 90% of them took Christian McCaffrey. And the ones that didn't took Tyreek Hill. Right, exactly.
All top 4 picks: Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, and yes, Bijan came on at the end.
I disagree.
Listen, I had it. He wasn't good for a lot of the season. He got good at the end. We thought it was going to be this renaissance with a new fucking.
Tell you what, I'm going to bet $5 right now that Bijan Robinson finished as a top 10 running back.
Right down the stretch, he came on strong.
I mean for the whole season. Top 10.
I'm saying for the whole season, yes, because of what the work he did in the final at the back end of it. But I'm telling you, it was very inconsistent and not big points for the entire first half of the season.
I think he's going to go number 3 or 2.
How many leagues did you have Bijan Robinson in?
I had him in one. I traded him for Justin Jefferson.
Dude, I wonder why you traded him. It wasn't that great.
I traded him for Justin Jefferson because I needed a wide receiver and I was rich at running back. That's why I was willing to get rid of Bijan. Because I still had
I held on to
Taylor.
I held on to Bijan and traded Joe Mixon while he was injured. And actually, that trade actually worked out for me because I got Kareem Hunt and I got what I really needed was another receiver because I'd lost Stephon Diggs, and I got Cortland Sutton, who I knew was going to be big down the stretch. And sure enough, he immediately started to pay off. And Kareem Hunt got all those running touchdowns there before what's-his-name came back and ruined the party.
Pacheco, right?
Yeah. If Pacheco would have just sat out one more week, he had just waited one more week.
I mean, it feels like Pacheco should have sat out the whole season because when he came back, he wasn't the same guy.
Which I've been saying that's what happens. So
what's that?
Now, one of the things.
Hey, championship to the championship. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to engrave on the trophy. I think I'm going to add to it, and I'm going to engrave put an asterisk next to it and put underneath it, best season on record, 15-1, and then Team Nation.
Right. Well, I'll be sure and raise that with the league and make sure that we vote against it. So
you can do what you want. I'm paying for the engraving. I've got the trophies at John's. He's bringing it over. I'm going to take it to the engraver. I'm going to put it on him. I want to put on what I want.
No, you can't put on what you want. That's not how it works. Stop.
Win the trophy and do it yourself then. Okay? No one said
I want it more than you have.
Yeah, well, do it again if you want to change the engraving. You got to pay for your own engraving if you want to add some shit, but I'm doing it.
You don't get to add no shit.
Oh, yes, you do. If you're paying for it and you got the trophy. Well,
nope.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, when I bring it up with the league, we'll find out.
Bring it up.
Bring it up right now. I'm doing it right now.
Bring it up. Yeah, bring it up.
Doing it right now.
You can do it. You can bring it up, but they're all going to have to deal with it because for a year, it's going to be like that.
Well, we'll just have it. When I get it next season, I'll just have it replaced and put it
right. Exactly.
Right.
You can have it replaced, and you can throw that one away. It'll be good for the engraving industry, which must be suffering. I can't imagine. It's got to be computers, right? It's got to be computers.
Are you kidding me? With all these fantasy football leagues giving away trophies and shit,
lasers doing it.
They're like the NFL. This is a free money for them.
Yeah, but it's got to be lasers, engraving that shit. Now, there's not some guy with a chisel or you know what I mean. There's no craftsman.
I hate to tell you, but I am not up on my engraving technology.
Me neither. But I feel bad for those folks. We're their last hope.
Let's talk about these rookie wide receivers because again, one of the guys that sunk my team that took me to last place was Marvin Harrison Jr. and he was basically untradeable. and I wasted second round draft capital on maybe third. I think it was second though. This is a 12-team league.
Second in almost every
league. Yeah,
and
it's a 12-team league, and I was drafting third or fourth. So by the time it made around to me, and he was the highest, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, he was supposed to be
the shiniest
gold
object.
Standard.
Yeah, look, man, it is so hard. It is so hard to resist that new hotness. It's so hard, and with a pedigree like his.
That's what did it for me, because I normally don't. Like, wow. I normally wouldn't have been on it because I know that you have to develop chemistry, and that takes basically a season.
Yeah, it's usually mostly running backs where you do this,
right?
With Bijan and Brees.
But because of the pedigree and the draft position and the way everyone wrote about it, just
and what you saw, your eyeballs.
I was like, and he had the best quarterback situation in Kyler Murray. I really felt like if I was going to do it with one guy, it was going to be that guy. In other leagues, I got Neighbors, I got Brian Thomas Jr. way later in the drafts, way later, and those guys were paying off like slot machines with mediocre at best quarterback play. And here he is with a dynamic running quarterback who should be able to get him the ball, and he just refused to pass it to him.
Very odd, very strange.
And it's not like there was another receiver that was getting all of the targets that should have been going to him. Like, he just wasn't.
You know what was really weird about it too? I think the weirdest one was, okay, so like week 1, it was like, oh my God, a total disaster, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my God, what have I done? And then week 2, I think, wasn't it week 2?
No, it wasn't week 2. It was like week 3.
Okay, so
they
were
like,
3.
one of these weeks, he's going to go
came out, and within the first quarter, he had 138 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
And you were like, here we go.
It's on. And then it just totally disappeared again. And it was just so.
Oh my God. You know what? You're right. It was week 2.
Week 2, right? So week 1 was a disaster.
0.9. So almost a Blutarski. Week 2, 34 points.
Like, this is it.
You're like,
I knew it.
Totally.
I knew it.
Right. And I'm like, I'm going to the top. I'm finally going to win my Comedians League. Okay. Week 3, 15 points.
Not so you're bad. I'm still feeling good.
All right. Week 4, 13 points. You're like, okay. A little more coverage. He's drawing more coverage. Then 4 points. Blutarski, 0.0. 3 points, 22 points, 2 points, 13 points, 6 points, 14 points, 7 points, 4 points, 6 points, 12
Yeah, that's like terrifying, and by the time you get to the end, if you made it, how do you trust that guy in the playoffs? Like, you can't. Well,
and think about it. You're starting him in the middle of from weeks 5 to 7. From weeks 5 to 7, you're starting him with confidence based on the previous 3 weeks, right? And he's giving you total for all 3 weeks 7 points.
Oh, yeah, that's when your soul breaks, and it's hard to stick with a guy. And you're like, "What am I doing?"
And at that point, now he has no trade value. But you thought you'd hit on a winner, so you didn't trade him when the stock was up. Now let's talk about something that I predicted, which was the McCaffrey thing. And I said, guys, trade him right now. This is when people will want him. We've seen this movie before. He's gonna go back out. Trade him right now. Dude, what in our dynasty league? The guy traded him for like 2 first-round picks in the dynasty league. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, and then he went down like the next week.
All right, so here's the lesson. Here's the lesson I learned from you on this. And I hope that everyone else takes away from it is, think about everybody who gets traded mid-season, all the big names, like when Deontay Johnson got traded to Baltimore originally, everyone was like, oh shit, here we go. And then when Amari Cooper got traded to the Bills right away, and when D-Hop got traded to Kansas City, like everyone was like, oh shit. And then there was that, like, the second week or third week, where D-Hop looked like he was going to be the man. Like, you need to sometimes, even if you get wrapped up in that hype, you're like, oh, well, this is exciting. I mean, I got this guy and something's changing. He might be something big. Like it's like a lottery ticket, and it's not scratched yet. It could be a big one, And so you're like, shit. I think it's better to trade away what's behind door number one for what is over here door number two. What you can see.
Listen, when Amari Cooper I thought he was going to save my season when he went to the Bills. I really did. I was like, okay, give him a couple games. By third time's the charm. I mean, he's been almost, everyone else he's managed to connect with pretty easily. There's there wasn't much competition for the
right.
Khalil. It was Shakir was not, he's not something that
he wasn't
no one can compete with Khalil Shakir. You're like,
right.
He was the one by default more than anything.
Exactly.
So it looked like this premium opportunity, and I'm like, I need this. This is gonna carry me. And then fucking, he went from having a 2-touchdown game to a full blue stars game.
I mean, it was so weird. And then like 14 targets to 1 target, and it was just like, what is like, just an aside. They say, I'm hearing that he's about to be big in the playoffs. Like they've been saving him. They're not showing the league what they're doing with him in practice, and that when the playoffs start, he's going to be just unstoppable.
Well, listen, they are focused on beating one team and one team only, and it is the Chiefs. And I could absolutely see them going, let's just see if we even let's not use him unless we absolutely have to. Okay, good enough. We've seen it. Let's just save him for the big one. I could see them doing that because that is
or save him just for the playoffs. Maybe not the big one, but
focused on that game.
True that. They need to be thinking about Detroit too. That wasn't a cakewalk for them.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the defense is completely gone over there, so who knows? But I think that as far
the Bills,
as
listen, the Ravens are the same way. The Bills and Ravens are both hyper focused on beating the Chiefs. At whatever point they run,
everybody's hyper focused.
At whatever point they meet them, that is the whole thing. Every move they've made has been about that game, not the Super Bowl, about beating the Chiefs so they can get there.
I guess that's true. They have to do that. You're right. That's the only way that because they can play Detroit in the Super Bowl.
Every move is designed around one thing, and that is beating the Chiefs. And I think the Ravens are better situated to do it than the Bills.
Here's the issue with the Ravens is that they always seem that way, and then when the playoffs start, they just choke. They just choke. And the playoffs every year.
Another team that's kind of known for that is a little team called the Detroit Lions.
I mean, they haven't had that many playoff games. And I wouldn't say they choked. I mean, well, I guess they did. They were up by a lot against the Niners. They did choke. They were up by a lot in that game.
Yeah.
You're right. That was actually a total.
When I look at it, they're one of those teams that when I look at this scenario, I'm like, they're one of those teams that a first round bye might actually hurt them.
I don't know, man.
You want to keep that team in rhythm because they're already barely taped together with a bunch of backups and stuff.
Dude, I believe that Dan Campbell's going to have them play each other full fucking scrimmage, offense versus defense, full pads, full contact. I think he's just going to say, and then he's going to add in like random hockey players shooting hockey pucks at their kneecaps. He is going to make it intense. He doesn't care. He's going to make sure those guys are ready to go, bro. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Listen, and I'm not trying to besmirch the good. I root for the Lions as much as anybody. They're a great underdog story. They deserve their time in the sun. You love the Jared Goff thing, the discarded, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I mean, there's so much to like about this team, but at the end of the day, that there's some helmets that just find a way to lose, and that might be one of them. I don't know, but I'm saying
might need to change.
They might be one of those guys. They might be one of those teams that a week off would hurt them more than help them.
Right. I don't think Dan's going to allow that personally.
And it all comes that is the biggest, most important game of the
week 18. Going to be so fun. I can't wait for that. I don't know what the line is. Do you know what the spread is on that game? And where they're playing? I think they're playing Detroit. If they are, then I would say Detroit would be favored by 2. 2.5.
Let's take a look on the site.
2.5 is my guess. Maybe 2.
You're saying Detroit is favored by 2.5
if home. They're playing, if Detroit is playing at home.
They are playing at home.
Okay, then yes, 2.5.
I believe. Wait a minute. Let me scroll down here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I thought I was almost certain. I was certain until we said it, and then I was like, am I certain?
Yeah, I'm not certain.
Where is it? Oh, here we what? Because it's the last game. Yeah, it's in Detroit. Yeah. That's what I thought. Well, they're both dome teams anyway. Okay, so I don't see the line just yet. Hold on, let me pull up the line.
Yeah, but the home field advantage is a big deal for Detroit in particular. They got a strong 12th man right now.
Right now it's a full 3.
Full 3. I think it's going to go to 2.5 before kickoff.
Listen, I would want to get it at 3 right now because at least that way there's an opportunity for a push.
True. And then you're just paying the vigorish.
Yeah, exactly. You're just losing a buck or two there.
All right. So what do you want to say about other rookies? Like, I mean, should we talk quickly about both Ladd McConkey and Rome Odunze?
Well, I mean, Ladd McConkey turned out to be a real he, again, took him a minute to find the chemistry, but once he did, he fucking that stock, much like the Courtland Sutton, that stock took off on the back end of the season.
When you drafted him, you were hoping that you were getting the wide receiver 1 for Herbert because they just got rid of Keenan and Mike
Williams. They got rid of 1 and 2.
Mike Williams, exactly. They got rid of all, and then they draft this guy, I think first round, right? McConkey was a first rounder. I'm almost positive. Anyway, but I
believe he was first or second, but I think he was a first rounder.
I think so too. And that like all that's left is like Quentin Johnston, and he was not good. I mean, he was better this year.
He had a couple weeks there where I was really not happy with that guy. And I'm like,
yeah, no, that's your impression.
I don't want it.
Yeah, I want it. No, I like guys who can like this. Like this. Yeah. One of my favorite. I love that Magic guy. But then they also had a guy who you always think is going to be awesome, and you listen. But Joshua Palmer, you keep thinking he's going to hit. He's been patient. He's waited. He was decent when these other guys went down in the past. Now they're both gone for good. He's got a relationship more with Palmer than with anybody else. And you know what? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. They don't work together. It's not working out. So Ladd McConkey, what I learned, because I drafted him in that Smoking Super Bowls league. I drafted him. I drafted Brian Thomas Jr. and I dropped them both. And here's why. Yeah, you're laughing. But here's the lesson that I learned, reflections from last year is, and it's a lesson that I seem to have to teach myself every year, which is if you are going to draft a rookie, you must be willing to wait.
Well, especially if it's a receiver.
Especially if it's a receiver.
Yeah, running backs not so much.
Tight ends are getting better this year.
And they are. Tight ends are coming out of college more NFL ready than ever before.
Absolutely.
Travis Kelce changed the position.
He did, 100%. I mean, there's Trey McBride and there's Brock Bowers. I mean, Brock Bowers is a rookie. Trey was a rookie last year, right?
Yep.
I mean, these guys, and Sam Laporta, and Dalton Kincaid, and I know he wasn't great this year and he got hurt or whatever, but these guys are different. They're different, man.
They just didn't need Laporta this year with the Lions until these last couple of games, and then he came on strong on the back end. Thankfully, he was awesome.
He was hurt for a little bit, then Montgomery went out, and then they started leaning on him a little bit more.
Yeah, they needed him.
And once they needed him, it was like, oh yeah. And I guess he's probably an incredible blocker, and we just don't watch that. You know what I mean? He might be incredible at that, and so his reward is actually like a punishment. It's like, hey, you're so good at it, you keep doing that. And he's like, yeah, but once in a while I like to also catch touchdowns. That's fun for me.
Yeah.
He's like, they're like, yeah, but you're creating all those touchdowns. And he's like, I get it.
Yeah, he's like,
I don't think my parents.
A lot of people drafted me pretty high.
My parents are watching. You know what I'm saying? I want to catch a touchdown.
Well, and these guys are very aware of their fantasy football presence.
Yep, it's gotten better, right? Isn't it great? They all know now.
They
Some
all
lean
know.
in,
They'll
some
say
hate
little,
it.
yeah. Some will say things like, "Start me this week, start me." You know, you
Keenan
love
Allen used to say that. Don't listen to him. He's a liar.
Yeah.
You know what? Tyreek Hill said that too, right?
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Remember? He was like, "Oh, start me up, dog. We back. Fantasy, everybody. I'm back." And that week he fucking sucked. He was bad, and he wasn't good.
And you know what's weird? Let's talk about this for 1 second. Is that Tua has been unable to get him the ball, get Tyreek Hill the ball all season long. And we're all like, something's wrong with Tyreek. Something's wrong with Tyreek. Then Tua goes out, Snoop Huntley comes in, and people bench Tyreek in the final week because he'd been so bad. And somehow, Snoop Huntley can get him 10 receptions.
Well, I will say he had improved during the playoffs, the fantasy playoffs. He was actually doing better. He was over. When I say better, look, they're not number 2 overall pick numbers. I'm not saying that. He was a huge disappointment overall, a bust. But during the playoffs, he actually brought his level up. And even Tua was getting it to him, even if it was luck, whatever. I mean, just they were
and Waddle went out too.
And Waddle went out. I mean, right, because Waddle was starting to actually look like he was finally going to emerge. What a wasted season for Waddle. I mean, he had such. I mean, everything got when
that's
Tua
another
was
guy
out, Waddle was healthy. When Waddle was out,
I think I even maybe was a keeper in one league, but that was another guy that I was expecting a lot out of, and they just another guy that sunk my battleship in the Comedians League. I'm telling you, I whiffed on everything. Mostert.
Oh yeah, well, dude,
Mostert went from having a very he was my flex guy,
but that was a whip that didn't cost you much. Like it was probably an 8th rounder,
maybe a
9th rounder.
Yeah.
All right. Still, hey, 8th, 9th round. People were getting people like, I mean, I got Chuba Hubbard in the 13th round. But anyway, I mean, I'm just saying there were other folks out there. So, but 8 or 9 to lose that, and you knew by week 3.
But when I've already whiffed on my first 6.
Oh, well, yeah. If it's that league, then you know what? Sometimes that's just it. I mean,
but you know what it is? I blame that league because as a commissioner, I don't know, you guys have no idea what it's like working with a group of comedians. Every single one of them needs special attention.
I bet it's hilarious.
Every one of them has like, wait, what is it? Oh, I can't. I gotta get. Oh, I can't. It's like herding cats, trying to get us all just to agree on a draft day on time.
Yeah, just a draft.
It's so stressful, and then getting the money from them is a pain in the ass. They all pretend like they don't even know. Like what? Oh,
money? What? Do you take cash out? Okay, cool. Cool.
Like, oh yeah, no, I'll get it to you, dog. I'll get like the other. And these are successful comedians. These aren't fucking beginners. These are pros. Okay.
These are open micers.
And they all act. It's emotionally draining to the point where by the time we get to the draft, I'm like, I'm frazzled. I'm definitely not comfortable. I'm just trying to appease everybody. Everyone's got problems. Man, I don't know.
Just like what we do to Nick. It's just like what we do to Nick. We frazzle him and fuck him up and toss him around, and we shake him up and we get him all fucking discombobulated. That by the time the draft comes, he sucks.
Listen, I am awesome in every league that I don't commission.
Right.
Although one of my other ones, my improv troupe league, I did win that one last year. So, but that's an easy one. It's only an 8-teamer, and everyone has a super team. It's not. Although I came in
when you ask, it sucks because anytime you ask somebody to trade, they say yes and.
Good one.
Sorry, stupid, terrible. That was for a very, very, very small group of people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's one of the comedians, and he came in last year, but he's also won the year before that. But his name is Jonathan Gregory. Look him up on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Very funny guy. But the name of his team is Trade Accepted. He just loves it.
He loves to wheel.
If you're looking for a trade partner, you found one. He loves to trade. Trading. The whole season isn't about winning. The whole season is about what kind of trades he can pull off.
Every league has one, right? Our league, I think, without question, commish.
Yeah, but that's because he's always like having to completely rebuild his team every year.
He's always wheeling dealing. Like he's looking.
Next
he's
year he
always
won't.
doing.
He sold off his team for so many draft picks. His roster is going to be filled by the 7th round, and I don't think he's going to have to trade with anybody.
I tell you what, Greg, that is a challenge accepted. That you should look at it as both of us. We're in that league. Let's just do what we always do to him. Let's yell at him and berate him and shake him up before the draft until he's so confused.
Yeah.
That he makes terrible mistakes.
Look, so long as Neninger keeps posting. So we're doing keepers this year, guys?
Right, exactly.
So as long as he keeps posting that, it'll drive him crazy.
God, it's so wonderful, isn't it? I love doing it. I mean, it's so not nice.
Dude, being the commissioner of a league is not, here's the thing. Should every commissioner get a free roll? Because but you can't. You can't. They have to pay just like everybody else. But it sucks because
should they get a discount? Maybe.
I mean, it seems like you should get something for doing all the work. Everyone else just shows up like and complains the whole fucking time. Dude, when my other comedians league, I got to pick the place where we had the draft this year. And apparently because I picked it, I was somehow in charge of everything. And I was like, no, I just get to pick the place.
Well, you learned a lesson.
It was horrible. They're like, we're going to have
take charge of anything.
The new winners, like, we're going to have it out there. I'm like, good, it's on you. I'm going to fucking show up late and complain about your shit now.
Oh, they're going to keep it on you. Good luck.
No.
You already
I made the playoffs. Another fucking horrible 5th, 6th game finish. Fucking, is there anything more painfully useless than the 5th, 6th game? Oh, you lose. You lose in the quarters and then you just play for nothing.
And it's inevitable that that's like your best game of the year.
For sure.
Like he scored the most points you've ever scored. The whole
and so did the guy I was playing, and I still lost.
And you guys, that's right. You played Eric, right? I think you guys had both. I think he had like over 170 points.
Yeah, he like 170, and I had like 136. But I played Michael Penix Jr. as a pure fuck off because I was like, fuck it, I'm playing for nothing. Let's just see how the kid does.
You wanted to have fun. You wanted to have fun.
In case the kid like shows up and just slings the ball for 1,000 yards. Oh, I can try it. Sure, why not?
Absolutely. Plus,
there was nothing at stake.
All right. So you know what? I got a question for you. Let me ask you, if you have a keeper league, right? There's different types of keeper leagues. Do you have any idea already, who your keeper might be for next year in the league of record?
In the league of record, let me quickly look at that team because I feel like I do. Let me just pull it up really quickly.
I'm trying to think who you had on your team.
I mean, Dobbins, I think I picked up pretty late. Oh, and
I think Dobbins was a waiver wire, wasn't he?
Was he?
I don't know, but we can look that up. Let's just.
But I would probably go with that because there's no real discoveries there. I mean, I've got Jalen McMillan, which again was a waiver wire pickup. So 4th rounder.
You can get him later than 4th.
That's what I'm saying. So it depends on where he's projecting for next season.
You can get him later than 4th.
He's probably going to be more like a 6, 7.
I think a 6th round.
Yeah. So I mean, I may
later
be going,
than 4th.
I may be going no keeper in this.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm thinking of doing Joe Burrow as my keeper for a 6th round pick.
Listen,
it's about where he would go anyway. I don't know, but he was.
Listen, if you like playing out of a hole, that is the absolute right thing to do.
Spoken like a man who did not have any shares of Joe Burrow.
I've had a lot of shares of Joe
I'm talking about this year.
Let's look at his first couple of games.
Let's look at his season.
No.
You can't just look at the first 2 games.
You don't play the season. Do you play the season?
No,
you play game by game.
I don't drop my quarterback after 2 games.
And I said, if you want to play out of a hole, which is what you would be in if you start 0-2.
Let's look at his first 2 games. You know what? Because his first game was a great game. I remember it. He played against Lamar Jackson. And they lost by a toe or something like that. And anyway,
game 1, 8 points.
Perfect. Game 2.
Then he had a nice little run.
Game 2, what? Whoa, yeah.
19, which is still not great.
Bad game.
That's still not great.
He had a bad game
for your QB.
19.
Then he came back with 29, week 3, very good, 29. Then back down to 18. Then another good week at 39.
Yeah. Good week. Almost 40.
Almost 40. Then 21.
Okay, great.
Then, wait. Then 17.
Great.
Then 13.
Not good.
Yeah. So, I mean,
two ungood games.
That's
8 and 13. 8 and 13. Those points are the only two. And you know what? That's still better than a lot of
several mediocre ones.
No, they're all great. He deserves MVP of the fucking league. Look at where he finished. Look at where he finished.
No, he always finishes strong. That's what I'm saying. You're only going to start in a
39.
hole.
You gave me 2 bad games out of the first.
He finishes strong, starts slow. That's Joe
Whatever,
Burrow.
bro. Okay.
So feel free, please. No,
keep underestimating Joe.
Please, I encourage you to please start Joe Burrow next year.
I could keep. I could keep Nico Collins, but I got him for a 3rd rounder, so I would have to give up a 2nd. No, and I'm not doing.
He's just too fragile.
And I don't think I can do Rashee Rice. I can keep Xavier Worthy as a
Xavier
4th rounder.
Worthy, I mean, it's got a lot of potential, but Rashee Rice will be coming back.
Yeah,
which may make Xavier even better.
I mean, I
like know. Xavier Worthy as a keeper.
Isn't it that, if you say don't draft a guy who's injured, then wouldn't you say don't keep a guy who was injured?
I'm not saying keep Rashee Rice.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking of my keepers. These are the people I can keep.
I was saying in regards to the Xavier Worthy keeper, you have to consider the fact that Rashee Rice is coming back.
True. But I don't, that's a good point. I just don't know. I mean, I've got a couple other people that I could do, but I just feel like Joe Burrow. Oh, T. Higgins. I could do T. Higgins because you know what's going to happen is T. Higgins is going to get traded in the offseason. And if he goes to like let's say this. Here's what I think is going to happen. Ready?
Yes.
T. Higgins is going to get traded to San Francisco, and Deebo Samuel is going to get traded from San Francisco.
Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry. Going to our league of record, I was looking at the wrong lineup. I did have Brian Thomas Jr. And I don't know where I drafted him. I imagine it was probably somewhere around 5 or 6.
I bet you it was later than that.
So wherever I got
7 or 8.
He'll be my keeper next year for sure. Will be Brian Thomas Jr.
Brilliant. Because he's proven that he could do it.
Oh, but you know what? I also got Brock Bowers, and if I remember correctly,
no, you got to keep him. Wherever you got to keep him.
I drafted him in the 8th. I think I got him in the 8th.
Bro, I'm just telling you, my favorite thing is to have a late round tight end badass keeper. If I get, dude, that is when I. It depends
on the price. It depends on the price.
Oh, it's going to be perfect
between him and Brian Thomas Jr. But you're right. I think Brock
best
because I was a league where I had both Kelsey and Brian and because I couldn't believe we got to like round 9.
You should have traded Kelsey.
And nobody had Brock Bowers yet. And I'm like, fuck it, and I grabbed him, and he obviously turned out to be the better of the two.
Wow. I mean, it's between him. That's another thing to watch for at week 18 here is Brock Bowers and Trey McBride are both about 8 catches away from beating the all-time tight end receiving record. And it's like, one of them's going to get it. But I think, my money's on Brock.
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Brock was the whole team.
He was so steady.
Oh, and who else I like for next season? I want to see where he winds up, if he's still there or not. But Tony Pollard was the picture of consistency on a very bad team.
Yeah. God, Tajay Spears looked really good, too, in his absence.
He did. He
looked great. So, I mean, geez.
I hope they split him, and I hope Pollard winds up somewhere with opportunity. I wish Cowboys had just held on to him.
Shit in one hand and wish in the other, which one gets full faster. But I don't think Tajay and Pollard I don't think this team's big enough for the two of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they both have proven that they really do deserve to be number ones. I don't know what Tajay's contract is.
Yeah.
But
although Tajay wears that, what is it? The Spartan?
The Guardian cap?
The Guardian cap.
Yeah.
There it is. The Guardian cap. Can I tell you, whenever they go to a close-up of Ladd McConkey in his helmet, all I think of is fucking Spaceballs. Rick Moranis in Spaceballs. That's what he looks like. The helmet looks so too big for his fucking little boy face.
Ah, McConkey. He got that fetal alcohol syndrome head, from the Irish.
Tiny little head and a giant helmet.
Oh, that's how all the Irish babies look. They've all got the fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
They all have it. So listen, I want to discuss a couple of quick things. I think that people should think of potential rule changes for their leagues. Coming to the next season. If you have an 18, make it a 17, right? If you don't have an IR spot, get an IR spot.
Yeah, at least one.
And if you are doing waiver wire based on, who sucked the worst, change that to FAB.
Yeah,
Free
everyone
agent
needs to
bucks.
update. Yeah, everyone needs to update to that. If you're still doing, and I'm in a few leagues that were still in priority based.
Yeah,
waivers.
you know what? You bring it up over the summer in May, June. Bring it up and have the league vote on it. But these are some things. If you don't have them, just throw it out there. Let the league vote. Again, it's too soon now. But come May, June, people are going to be thirsty. We're all ready to start thinking fantasy. We're going to start doing mock drafts in June, July, and we're all excited because training camp and all that stuff. Another, I think, is a great thing that we added to our league. I consider adding, let's say you have a 10-team league and the buy-in's $100. Take $140 out of the budget and give $10 a week to the high score each week, regardless. Just every week, $10. Whoever scores the most points that week. So every week, even if your team sucks, you have something to play for. You never know. Like
I disagree with that.
Why?
Because it takes too much money out of the pool, and there's not that much money in there to begin with. You're basically just punishing the guys that are actually going to win at the end.
Well, fine. Then add $140 to the across the board. Add $10 a piece more to the buy 110 and give $10 a week.
I'm not with $10
a week.
I don't think that's a necessary ad.
You know what? Throw it out there as a vote because I think it's wonderful to have something to play for, even if your team sucks. And your record sucks, but you just keep, you can get a couple of weeks where you have the best points. You could take $100 and that you paid in, and you can maybe turn it into, your buy-in's only 80 because 2 of those weeks somehow you got the highest points. It just helps, and it also keeps everybody motivated. Even the shitty teams.
I think having a consolation bracket that plays for something like the first pick, I think serves that purpose way better than this $10 joke business.
Look,
I think that's more work for your commissioner. I think that's more to keep track of it. It reduces the overall value of the league. I fervently disagree.
I fervently disagree with that. I think it's more fun personally, but I say bring it up. It's worth bringing up to your people and let them vote. See what the league wants. I think it's more fun.
You got to bring that up. I think if you don't do it in your league, you're fine.
Bring it up as a vote. And also the consolation bracket, as he was saying, is another thing to bring up. Once people are out to play for, even if you don't want the first pick, like let's say, you're going to keep your second round guy. You got a second round pick and he's a keeper and you lose the round before, right? So you don't want to waste it on the number 101. So maybe you win the consolation bracket. You don't have to be pick number 1. You could be pick number 10 and still keep that guy. Okay? You get to pick where you want. So most of the time people do want number 1 because it's very rare that you want to keep a second round pick and lose your first round pick. Very rare is there some player who's that good that you got in the second round that you're willing to say, that's my keeper. And it's your first overall pick as your keeper. Like very rare, but it can happen.
Listen, it happened with Tyreek Hill the year before.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's just move on. As much as I would love to discuss potential rule changes, as riveting as it is, let's move on to our final FAH-Qs of the season.
All right, what do you got?
My main one with a bullet, FAH-Q Aaron Fraudgers. You ruined Breece Hall's season. You got coaches fired. You ruined Breece Hall's. You ruined the receivers. Wilson was supposed to have his big breakout season. Everything you touched turned to shit.
Even Hassan Reddick said no.
Yeah, with the exception of the last 2 weeks of Devontae Adams, you managed to make him fucking relevant for a minute. But at that point, who fucking cared? It was, oh, fuck you. I hope you retire. I hope you fucking retire. You fucking egomaniac.
I hope you don't retire. I hope that you come back and have an even worse season than this one.
Oh, ruin the guy is I've never seen anybody just play spoiler for their own team. He ruined everyone around him, the coaches, the players, everyone but him, standing up there going, well, they're not doing enough. I don't know. I can't do it all on my own. I hate him with a passion.
Come on, give me some more final fuck yous. I can't. That was a good one. That I felt that one.
Another fuck you to CJ Stroud. Oh, you were so cocky in the off season.
Oh, is this my Lowe's commercial? Hold on.
You sucked. Okay, you sucked. You're lucky to be in the playoffs, and you're not going to make a dent.
Boom.
And finally, another one. Fuck you, Lamar Jackson, for having another amazeball season.
Oh, that's not fair. He doesn't belong here.
I know, but
fuck
I
you
personally.
To you. That's fuck you, Greg Wilson.
It's a very personal one.
Yes, that's a fuck you, Greg Romero Wilson.
Yes.
For not drafting
like you
Lamar.
with the fucking money on every week thing. I have a personal because you just fucking ruined my season. Every other time I've ever drafted you, you've ruined my season. And then of course I knew you were going to be great. I was telling everybody you're going to be great, but I couldn't believe it myself, and I did fucking draft you. Fucking ruined my fucking life.
Wow. Well, that one really, that was personal. Like it
was very personal.
That one felt like you did did you grow a little? I feel like you actually grew just a little, like you did micro growth. Like
if anything, I shrunk because I let out some tension.
I feel like your heart grew 3 inches that day.
Oh boy, it was
okay. So I had CJ Stroud on my list. I had Aaron Rodgers on my list. I've got some quarterbacks. I'm just going to fly through them if you don't mind. And Jalen Hurts, fuck you.
Yeah.
We relied on you. And then when we needed you most, where were you?
Yeah.
Where were you?
Took the week off.
Call? Fuck you. Don't get concussed. I don't like people who get concussed. It's like Trump.
I prefer my quarterbacks who don't get concussed.
I prefer, exactly. Thank you. You get it. So fuck you. And you know who else while we're doing it? Fuck you, Tua Tagovailoa, with no N in your name, but we have to say an N in your name. Fuck you, Tua. I don't like you. Fuck you, Tua. I want to believe in you, and you always let me down over and over and over again. And I don't think I'm ever going to trust you again, no matter what. So fuck you. And Anthony Richardson. Hey, how about, why don't fuck you, okay? Because just when I think, you know what? Yeah, he's gonna, no, he's not. He's not gonna be, and he isn't. So just fuck you. You suck. I'll never depend on you again. And Jordan Love. I don't love anything about Jordan.
Boy, heartbreaker season.
He bothers me.
Well, we got to keep in mind, he got that groin injury week 1 at that stupid shit game down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which they had no business being down there on a field that was not made for our style of football. And he got injured week 1, and I had to make a shitty trade to make sure I had his backup because I was afraid he was going to linger and have him in and out of the season.
Do you remember?
Malik Willis.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Who actually looked really good when he came in and played very, very well.
It was crazy. You're right. I'm glad you brought him up because I forgot about him. And what I learned this season about him in particular is that he's not as bad as I thought he was.
And I would like to give a fuck you to the OC in Green Bay who can't pick a fucking receiver to be the guy. Oh my, to go from fucking 2 touchdowns to 0 targets. I traded for Jaden Reed only to have it fuck me in the ass over and over. Oh, and it's all on them. They just couldn't pick a horse, could not pick a horse. And what about another fuck you for the Chicago fucking organization?
Okay? Organization.
The guy, the clock mismanagement, one fucking game. Okay, but
he gone.
You fired the coach.
How
was that going to make Caleb Williams' rookie year better?
Oh yeah, man.
How was that going to help? The kid was
baptism by fire,
was
baby.
growing by the week, and it went into total turmoil. Just melted like a candle that was left out all night. It was all because he mismanaged the clock, and so fuck Eberflus. Like, just keep him till the end of the season. At that point, the development was happening. They were one Hail Mary away from beating Washington and riding. And because of that,
they never recovered.
Never recovered. They fired the coach.
Everything fell apart.
And the coach even went out there, and it's almost like he was like, but we did a lot of good things. I liked what we were doing. And because he said
that's what he got him fired, was him saying.
Yes, because I thought we did a really good job. I know what he was saying. He's working with a rookie. He's like, listen,
but you can't blow it the way he blew it and then come out.
But that shouldn't have cost him his job. And then firing him over it destroyed Caleb's season, destroyed the entire season for everybody on that team.
Except Keenan Allen, who had a bit of a resurgence.
I wouldn't
call it a resurgence. He had, when you say a couple of good games, he had at least 2 games with multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, but then multiple games with Blutarskis.
Not Blutarskis. No.
Close to it.
No Blutarskis.
I would say at least 2. Let's take it. Let's check it out.
Let's look it up. Let's check it out. So, if we're going to talk about those guys, I would like to thank people like Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield and Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes and Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Bo Nix, and Justin Herbert for doing their jobs during the playoffs when we needed them most.
Agreed.
They really came through. These are guys, Justin Herbert was hard because he was injured for a long time. And Bo Nix, my God, talk about, you really had to have some balls. But if you played him during the Super Bowl, he had over 25 points. Anything over 20 points, and you are pretty happy. Mahomes had over 30.
So his only Blutarskis were weeks, I guess he was injured.
Well, so that doesn't count.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. 9 weeks, not including the 2, 9 weeks under 7 points.
Oof, that's half the season.
Under 7.
And then you got to add 2 weeks he's off on top.
Yeah. And a bye week.
Oh, God. So, Jesus. So I guess when you put it like that, he only had 5 good games.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But they all, I guess, were bunched there at the end, huh?
Yeah, at the end, he started to get a couple, but then in week 17, you played him, he gave you 5 fucking points, and you lost.
Yeah.
So
right when you have
don't come at me with a Keenan Allen resurgence story. I don't fucking buy it.
Well, you know what? I'd like to thank some running backs while we're at it. I'd like to thank Saquon, Bijan, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Amir Abdullah, and I'm going to take a personal victory lap on this one.
Bucky Irving.
That was
called it. Yep.
From week 1.
Yep.
When people didn't know who the fuck he was.
No, you were saying go grab him. You were saying it. You were but I was also saying pick up Chuba Hubbard. That Chuba Hubbard wasn't.
You were 100%. Yeah.
I was a big time Chuba Hubbard believer. I saw it in the first game. I wish I drafted him. I skipped over him many times. And then I was watching week 1. I was like, Chuba's going to have a great season. This guy, Chuba's on fire.
You were also a big Emmanuel Wilson guy. And I will say that although it didn't pan out this season, I see what you saw when you were calling his number. When he had his moments, they were pretty special.
Yeah.
Right? I'll give you that. So I will give you, especially as a Wilson, like you brought my eye to Emmanuel Wilson. I didn't really know when you were talking about him. And then I started watching him, and you know what? He didn't have a Bucky Irving season. But
he didn't have Bucky opportunity.
Opportunity, of course not. No, Josh Jacobs
proved to be good. Shockingly durable.
He's really good.
And it's just amazing the way that it was the summer of disrespecting running backs, and you want to talk about rule changes, okay? When we talk about real football, collective bargaining agreement shit,
yeah,
running backs need a different contract.
100%, 2 year. contract for running backs.
And upfront money bigger than any other position. The rest
I
of
don't know
them
about all
on,
that. I don't know about all that, but I think that for sure restructuring, we can agree on whatever. I don't know what people get as far as upfront, if any of that, or if that is only for people drafted in a certain amount of rounds or whatever. But I do agree that it is unfair.
It is unfair
that
their best
running back,
physically,
back, their rookie contract is their whole fucking career. That's not fair.
It's not fair.
Not fair.
It's not fair. Everybody else has to develop. The running back has to produce right out the gate. He has to take more hits than anybody else.
Most wear and tear on there. Yes,
of
exactly.
Any
more damage on the knee.
I don't know how you structure it. I don't know what the wording needs to be.
2 years, baby.
But it needs to be a situation where they get theirs up front when they're being used the most.
Their rookie contract is 2 years.
Yeah.
That's it. And then they get to renegotiate from there.
Yeah.
Because it's just not fair.
It's not fair. And it's the only position. The only position that should be.
And then you know what happens is
in that consideration, not the quarterback, not the running back, not the line, nobody else, just running backs.
Right. And you know, the thing that happens is it's people, that's why they all sat out this year. They were all like on strike this year because it was like Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry and all these big, Saquon Barkley and all these big names. And I think even Joe Mixon, all the ones that were big names that were end of their 4-year contracts and then switch different teams. And they were like, because they were like, pay me, find a team that's going to, but you have to go through 4 years as a running back,
which
to get to that. And it's so rare, dude.
First of all, the chances that you're not going to get injured in 4 years at a running back is zero.
Right. Exactly.
It is. You have a 100% probability of missing time in almost every season. So yeah, their contract just needs to be different.
So I would like, you just reminded me of a hesitant fuck you, but deservedly so. A fuck you, James Conner, because we believed in you. You know, you said you were going to play. You said you were going to play, and it was our championship. And we said, you know, Greg and I were like, oh no, we've jinxed this man. But I get it, because he wanted to say, hey, I think he's going to try to start this week just so that he could say, I started every game in a season. Because he's
I don't think they're going to let him. Why would they?
I think they'll the same thing they're going to do with Josh Allen. They're going to let him start just so that he never misses a start. And then they're going to sit him.
Maybe.
Yeah. You know, so he can say, I started a whole fucking season. He'd probably say, please, coach, I have been so good for us. Would you please let me just start and then take me out so that I can say that I started every game this season?
Right.
But it's not true. I mean, we know it. So fuck you for trying. We appreciated you, but you knew you weren't right and you shouldn't have done it and you fucked us. You know, we some of us had a choice between you and Jalen McMillan and chose you. Fuck you. All right. That's not nice. You fucked us. All right, sorry. You made me.
If there's one person, if we're gonna put a bow on this season, you know, I got 2 more championships. Let me pull out one of my. I want one of mine is back to back.
All right, hold on, time out. Let me do a real quick. You go get your shit.
Hold on, I gotta get the trophy. Hold on.
All right, you go get it. But while he's getting it, allow me to tell everybody here that there are some fuck yous that need to be done, and it's for specifically the championship. Look at that. That's a beauty. I've never even seen that one. Pretty nice.
Here it is, our championship
Smoking
trophy
Super Bowls.
For the smoking Super Bowls. You notice there's an inoperable bong.
I was going to say, is it functional? No, it's not. No.
But this was built by one of our league members.
Bert, baby.
Hold on.
Bert.
This was built by Bert Hamlin, one of our league members. Him and his son built some. I think this is like an old fucking candy dish or some shit. But they built this, and I won it last season, and I got it. I got to keep it this season. Back-to-back championships, which we all know very difficult to do.
Now let me ask you this: since it's yours, you have won the right to do things to it. Why don't you engrave the bottom of it?
You know why? Because I respect my leagues.
Oh, what is to say that that's not respect? you are the champion.
I'm not going to disrespect the trophy like that.
Oh, no, it's your trophy.
No, that's
it's
not
your trophy this year. You can do with it
It's been my trophy, and it'll continue to be my trophy.
Hey, man, listen, I want to run through a couple of fuck yous. Fuck yous.
A couple more. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I'm going to run through them quick. These are people that you counted on for your Super Bowl, okay? And they let you down. People like or just for the whole season, Jonathan Brooks. All right, fuck you. All year I waited for you. I drafted you in the 6th. You know what? No, fuck you. I drafted you in the 6th. You were supposed to be ready by week 6. Then it was week 8. And then it was week 10. And then it was, oh, here I am. Oh, no, I'm not. And then you were gone again. And that was it. And I took a draft. You fucked up one of my drafts. So fuck you. And James Conner, I already talked about. Devon Achane. You're so good. But when I needed you most, fuck you. You didn't do it. Breece Hall. Hey, you're a keeper. You're number 2 overall. Why don't you fuck you, Breece Hall? Look at this guy showing off his shit. Kendre Miller. Just when I thought, hey, you're going to be the guy. Alvin Kamara's gone. You know what?
Well, you're on Kendre when you're on Bucky Irving there for a minute.
I still thought he had a great opportunity. And you know what? Fuck you, Kendre Miller. You ruined it for us. Isaiah Pacheco. We thought you were great. We thought you were going to fuck you. You blew it. You made us lose. Jerome Ford, I believed in you. You fucking blew it, Jerome Ford. Ramondre Stevenson. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
You can't get closer to a 0.0 than 0.10. And that is what he got.
Right, which in the Smoking Super Bowls championship game, I had started Zay Flowers, who got me 4 fucking points.
He's on my list.
And then he went and started fucking Ramondre, who got a point one, even right the fuck out.
You know what? It was just like me. I started Nico Collins in my league of record, 7.5 points. I was very nervous. And then Brian started JSN, 4.7 points. And it was like, cancel out.
And then the Cowboys gave me a Blutarski. So I was furious. But then he had Jerome Ford, and I hate to celebrate an injury, but the second he was grabbing his knee, I was like, I have a chance.
Yes, exactly.
I hated that was my reaction, but that's all I could think was, oh my God, I have a chance.
Fuck you, Aaron Jones. We thought, revenge.
Oh,
he's going to come back and do it. It's going to be such a big deal. And he was looking good. And then he just fucking, my knee. Oh, I'm Aaron Jones. I guess I am old. You thought you could count on me, but nope. I'm Aaron Jones. Alexander Madison. You're no Amir Abdullah, bro. Because Amir Abdullah fucking crushed it.
And can I tell you, I really liked Alexander Madison this season. He looked good, and then he just fell apart.
Look, man, he really let people down. And last but not least, on the running backs, Joe Mixon. You know what? Fuck you. You were so amazing for about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks. You looked like you had gone through some transformation. Like you had gone Splash, our Cocoon. They jump in the old people jump in the pool and they come out all young and beautiful. I feel like he did that. I was like, whoa, he found the Cocoon pool. And Joe Mixon is now amazing. And
well, as you know, I doled out many fuck yous for him this year, but because he was doing so great,
and then you traded him. Yeah, then you traded him. Yeah.
I traded him while he was injured. And again, knowing the Joe Mixon story, I was like, this is going to be a lingering issue. This is what happens with him. Then he's going to be game in, game out. But instead, he came back and roared like a lion for fucking 6, 7, 8 weeks.
I mean,
and when he was
running back one for a minute.
He was getting 2 to 3 touchdowns a game. But when he stumbled in the championship and he cost the guy that I traded him to the title, I couldn't have been happier.
Dude, I totally understand exactly what you just said. And that's not good for us. You know what I mean? That's not good for us. We shouldn't.
I didn't want him to win with the guy that I traded to.
I get it. I totally get it, man.
Because that guy was carrying him through the season. It was like the greatest thing that ever happened to him in the history of the universe. Another bad trade I made this year was I traded away, and this was to get Malik Willis. I traded away, and at the time he had done nothing, was Terry McLaurin.
Oh, and then, God.
Well, the very next week was the week he blew up.
It was like flipping a switch with Terry. It was like,
but I had him on my dynasty team for 2 seasons, and
you know what the problem is?
Shit.
You know what the problem is?
They didn't seem to be anything happening.
You didn't take into account the rookie. I mean,
well, I did. It just nothing was happening, and it didn't look like it was going to go that way.
You couldn't, because it was like week 4. I mean, it wasn't that long, but God, it feels like forever because you wait.
I had to have Malik. I had to have
Malik. You wait 6 months, and this guy's doing nothing, and you keep putting him in, and it makes you angry, and you keep losing, and you rage drop somebody. You're just mad, and you're like, God. It just sucks. It's
just
again,
to give you an
same
idea,
story.
Just to give you an idea, the choices I gave the guy for Malik Willis were Calvin Ridley and Scary Terry. Because at the time, they were both just sitting on my bench collecting dust. They were just names.
So, gosh, you know what? For a minute there, you probably felt like...
And by the way, I played the guy in the final who had Terry McLaurin that I traded him to, and Terry gave him 1 point.
Let's talk about Terry just for a moment because of how much you were like, if you don't play Terry McLaurin, you're a fucking idiot. How did you not play Terry McLaurin? You got to play Terry McLaurin. You know what? I'm glad that Breece Hall only scored 5.3 points, but Terry McLaurin having 1 total point.
If there was one guy I would have put the money on, it was Terry McLaurin. He'd been showing me up all fucking season, every single game. The fact that he gave him 1 in the championship versus me, it really was the universe saying, all right, Greg.
I wish I had Zay Flowers. That's how much I hated.
I did start Zay Flowers.
I know. That's why I'm saying it to you, because it's you. I'm saying, I wish that I could have started Zay Flowers. Okay? That's what I'm saying. But you know what? I did call Jalen McMillan would have a 2-touchdown game. Remember, I told you that.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I felt it too, but I was like, nah, I'm going to stick with the wide receiver. Who knew that he would only throw 10 completions in a blowout win? I didn't see that coming.
So crazy. Let me ask you, I just want to do this really quick. I want to do this, and because I'm curious, this is like way too early rankings. Like, where would you put, I'm going to start with quarterbacks. What round would you take? Let's start with Bo Nix. What round would you draft Bo Nix next year?
9 or 10.
Okay. How about Jaden Daniels?
3.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
So who would go above Jaden Daniels?
Lamar, Josh, those guys.
Josh. And that's it, right?
Probably that'd be about it. Yeah. That'd probably be the list. Yeah. Maybe Hurts.
Yeah, I would go.
Him and Jane would be right next to each other, right there in around round 3, round 4.
Wow, that's an incredible thing. I think. How about Penix? Where do you want to draft Penix? I guess it depends on what happens this week.
You pick him up 12. 10, 11, somewhere way down
right,
there.
Right. Double digits.
He's your backup just to see what he does. They may even keep Cousins. I mean, who knows? Okay. They're already contractually obligated to Cousins to have to pay him anyway.
No, they let him go. They've already released Cousins. He's gone.
They've released him?
Yeah, he gone.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He gone.
They're gonna have to eat a big money dick on that one.
Yeah. But they're fine with it. How about Baker Mayfield? What round would you take? Or where would you take Baker? Who would you take first? Baker or Joe Burrow?
Baker.
Okay.
I would also take him over Jared Goff.
I was just going to bring him up. Where would you place these 3? Goff, Purdy, Tua.
Oh my God. Well, Purdy and Tua are going to be very late. They're way down there. They're considered.
Purdy's going to be very late. Well, I guess his injury.
Yeah, he looked terrible. And then
he looked great. What are you talking about? Versus Detroit? That game was amazing.
I know, but incredible. The season was terrible. You
lost
really
everybody.
Get hung up on
he lost everybody. He didn't have CMC.
You get hung up on single game performances. He did not have a good season.
I have some recency bias.
You do, and he will not draft very highly next season at all.
All right, so you're going Goff 1. Purdy,
well, again, Baker above all.
3.
I would go again. Goff,
Baker, Goff, Purdy, Tua.
Baker, Goff, Tua, Purdy.
Tua, Purdy. Wow. Tua over Purdy.
Purdy sucked this season, dude.
So did Tua, bro.
Tua had some good runs.
Okay. All right. You know what? Cool. Let's move on to running backs. I've got some for you here. I think these will be fun for you. Where will you draft Rico Dowdle?
Ooh.
These are fun.
This one really depends on off-season moves.
True. I'm just saying what we know today.
If he stays RB1 in Dallas, I think probably fourth, fifth round.
Yeah, I think you're right. Fourth or fifth, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's true. Okay, so does that mean Bucky Irving is a third?
Bucky Irving may be a second.
Second. Wow. Okay, who are we taking Bucky Irving over? That's a big name. Like, would you take Bucky or Connor? I guess Bucky's younger.
Bucky, for sure, 1,000%.
Okay, let me think. What would be a good comp here? Bucky or Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs.
You'll take Jacobs over Bucky.
Yeah.
You'll take next year, right now, today. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right, cool. How about Derrick Henry? Where I know you love Derrick Henry, okay? But this next year, you know what I'm saying? Like 2025, the next year, is he still deserving? Alexa, how old is Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry is 30 years old and was born
I was going to say 31, actually.
1994.
Okay, here's the thing. It entirely depends on if he stays with the Ravens.
If he will. Let's say he does. He stays with the Ravens.
If he stays with the Ravens, first round pick. Top
At
5.
30 years old.
Yeah.
Boy, I just think I'm asking somebody who's very biased. How about Bijan Robinson?
I just don't think people will let him fall to the second round again. You know?
I will.
You will, but not people will panic and pick him up early. He will go in the first round around
He's
5.
Too
probably
old,
around
man.
probably
He's
around
too old. I couldn't do it this year.
Probably
and
somewhere between like 5 and 8, the 5th and 8th pick.
Okay. If that's the case, try right now. Let's just go off the top of our head. Let's go with top 8 running backs. Number 1, who do you take? Saquon Barkley, for me. Number 1.
Okay.
Who would you take number 1?
Scatterbo.
All right, forget rookies too.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry. I forgot. Scataboo, by the way.
Scattaboo.
So much more fun to say it that way, too.
Yeah,
Scataboo.
it's just fun to say.
It is. Hey, I once met a guy named Scataboo. he was amazing. He wasn't very scary, even though his name ended with boo. Anyway. I don't know. That seems like something.
That's Harry Carey calling football.
It feels like that's something Harry would say.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got some great names for you. Okay, how about all right. So Henry. Oh yeah. So number 1 overall. Forget about rookies.
It's probably Saquon.
Number 2.
Derrick Henry.
Okay. Who's number 3?
Maybe McCaffrey, if you still believe in him.
Okay. Who's number 4?
Joe Mixon.
I would take Jonathan Taylor. I would take Jonathan Taylor over Mixon.
2 good games.
Jonathan Taylor is great. He saved my bacon. You know what? I'm recency biased.
Your recency bias
he saved my.
You're fucking drunk. All right, let's wrap this up.
Come on. Hold on. Seriously, I am a little drunk, but still. Okay, Devon Achane.
I mean, second round, top of the second.
Okay, so you're going. You're going. Saquon,
Henry. It'd probably be Saquon, Mixon, Henry, maybe McCaffrey, or that's where you might start to mix
Bijan.
Yeah, Bijan. Even though, I mean, he should be great. I mean, he just isn't giving you what he should be giving you.
So you've got McCaffrey at like still in the top 5, right?
Yeah, probably 5th. Yeah.
Okay. So probably okay. So then what about Tyrone Tracy? Does he crack the top 10? I mean, I guess it really depends. There's a lot
of running backs. I mean, all these guys, we're getting into the 2nd and 3rd rounds now for sure.
All right, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown. I'm just saying, like, where would you take some of these guys that showed up? You know,
Chase Brown may work his way into 1st round consideration. I mean, he was.
I don't think so. I don't think 1st round. I don't think he could be 1st round. I would rather have Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra St. Brown or, I mean, okay, where would you take Tyreek Hill? Is he still a 1st rounder?
He will be. Yeah. I don't think again, he'll slip, to the back end of the 1st round, but yeah, still 1st round.
So T. Higgins, depending on, he's probably going to get traded, but what round would you say he would go in?
4, 5.
4, I like. Juwan Jennings?
7, 8.
I think he'll be closer to 5, 6, quite honestly.
Nah, when you look at Pearsall, the return of BA.
Oh, that's true. Pearsall doesn't. Okay, where would Pearsall go?
Probably 5, 6.
Lad McConkey?
Ooh, 3, 4.
Agreed. Cooper Kupp?
You're going to get him at a discount. 8,
7.
9.
7, 8, right? Oh my God. 7, 8. JSN.
3rd round.
3rd. I agree 100%. 3rd round. DK Metcalf.
If you pay higher than 5th round for him, you're a fool.
I go 4th round tops.
Tops. No, 5th round tops.
5th. You're going 5th. I would consider him in a 4th round.
Nah, the production's all swung. Plus, they got to do something at quarterback. What's his name is not the answer. He done. Geno Smith, yeah. Great story. Bye-bye. So it depends on who they get, and that's going to affect production for both these guys.
Who's their backup? Do we know?
I don't even know.
I don't know either. Is it? Shit. I don't know. I think it's one of these names that we know, but I can't remember who.
Right.
Rashee Rice. 5th round?
I think he's going to fall down really far because of this injury thing.
Okay, if he falls below the 5th round, you should take him. No matter
Absolutely,
what.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to take him a while to work back, and it depends on his preseason performances, how he looks there. I could see him falling down to the 8, 9, 10 range.
How about 10? Jeez, I don't see him falling that low. But Amari Cooper.
It depends on what happens in the playoffs.
I believe you could look at 9, 10 for him.
No, if he goes off in the playoffs, he will and stays with the Bills next season, then he will wind up in the 3, 4 combination rounds.
Really?
Depending on what happens in the playoffs.
How about Jordan Addison? I feel like he's really earned his way to at least a 4th round.
I was going to say 3, 4 with Addison because the production has turned out to be consistent now.
And I think it's pretty clear that they're going to keep Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Alexa, stop. I think they're going to keep Sam Darnold, and Jordan Addison is amazeballs. Okay, what round do you take? This is the hardest one for me to pick. I'm very curious. I'm going to write it down because I want to see. I don't want you to think I'm just cop. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to write it down.
This is riveting television.
You ready?
Yes.
What round will you take Mike Evans?
Ooh, so old, but the production's still there.
Never been less than 1,000.
But I couldn't go higher than 4.
Wait, bottom of the 3rd.
There you go.
Bottom of the 3rd. I got bottom of the 3rd, top of the 4th. Mike Evans, incredible guy to think about. And how about Terry McLaurin?
I mean, Terry's played his way up there into the round 3 conversation.
I agree. I think 3, 4 again, bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin. I see them both very similar. And now for tight ends, where would you take Kelsey?
Ooh, Kelsey's going to fall to the 5, 6 range.
6, right?
Easily,
yeah, like 6, which is fucking nuts.
Because the production is just so far off, and he looks so bad out there now.
Would you take Noah Gray over Travis Kelce?
No, but I would handcuff the shit out of him with Noah Gray.
Right
If
on.
you get him, then around 9-10, you need to get Noah Gray.
At what round would you take Mark Andrews?
I wouldn't take Mark Andrews.
I would take him in the 7th.
I was thinking seven,
Yeah, I would
8.
take him in the 7th round, but I would do what you just said is I would make sure to grab Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, and you know that now. You know,
Yes.
and I mean, Brock Bowers and Trey McBride are going to be the guys up there in the 2-3 range.
Exactly. So I'm saying forget about McBride and Bowers. We know those guys. But where would you take like Laporta?
Laporta, he's probably going to fall around 4 or 5 because of his strong.
I think
finish.
he'll go later. I think he'll
because
go later.
because of his strong finish. I think it's
what?
gonna where he was depressed and would have fallen
Recency
down.
bias. Recency bias.
The strong finish, the way they're going to play out these playoffs, his involvement in it, I think it pushes him back up into the 3-4 conversation.
Okay. I like what you're saying. With that in mind, somebody like David Njoku, where would Greg Romero Wilson draft David Njoku next year?
Oh boy! Again, you know what?
In my head, I've got my number's 8 or 9 at the top.
Probably yes, exactly. Because a lot of it depends on what happens with the quarterback situation.
Quarterback is a big deal.
They're dealing with this Deshaun Watson fallout, the whole situation. Who just he redid his contract.
Yeah.
Like no one asked you to restructure it. We don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. So,
all right. Now this one I think is very interesting. And it's something that I'm going to be thinking about most offseason. You don't have to worry about it because you're going to keep Brock Bowers. You lucky son of a bitch. But I'm thinking about Jonnu Smith. And I'm wondering how high I feel like if everybody stays the same in Miami, if all the coordinators and everybody stays the same, that like the way they're restructuring this offense, we've seen that Jonnu Smith is like an extremely integral part of this offense. And I think that like him and you know who I think he's like Freiermuth, right? I think Freiermuth is going to have a breakout season next year.
Okay.
I do. With Wilson,
I think his production is going to remain about static. I think it's going to remain about the same. And with Jonnu Smith, I hate to say it, but I think this was his big season. You know, those guys that have the big season, old. And then that's the season. I feel like this was that season for him. I see his production going down. I see him being highly droppable by week 4.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I just still think that if they keep him is the way they have this year, then his PPR alone, like he's getting so peppered with targets. Okay.
I think it's all just a condition of this season. I don't see this storm happening again next year.
Okay. So last but not least, when it comes to tight ends is Dalton Kincaid. What do you think of him? How do you feel about his whole, this is basically a lot.
Listen, he's going to be cheap. He's going to be cheap because he hasn't done much this season. Yeah. So he'll be down there. Yeah. And most people that do pick him up will be picking him up as a second tight end just to make sure they have some coverage. He's not going to be a premium pick in any way.
And did you say where you would take Tyrone Tracy, by the way? I know this is not, but I'm just.
Yeah, I said right around round 3, back end of 2, 3, probably second round. The production's there. But again, they got so many big questions with the quarterback situation now. They got to go
really second round. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, he's not second round. There's so many other guys. He can't be second round, can he?
I said back of the second or the third.
Back of the second, top of the third.
Yeah.
Tyrone Tracy, yeah, okay, all right.
Because he's still, you know what? Because when you get down to that level, there's only a couple of RB1s that actually are going to be like Joe Mixon. I took Joe Mixon the second because he was the last workhorse RB left on the board at the bottom of the second round.
Tyrone Tracy or Joe Mixon?
Joe Mixon.
Next year, right? Right? No, maybe, right? I don't know either. Tyrone Tracy. I've got another one. Tyrone Tracy or Aaron Jones.
Tyrone Tracy, without question. That one easy peasy. That one absolutely lock and loaded. Tyrone Tracy over Aaron Jones.
Okay, and this one should also be easy then. Tyrone Tracy over Rachaad White.
Yeah.
Tyrone Tracy, James Conner.
Obviously.
You're gonna take Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah. James Conner's old.
James Conner was so good, though. He was so good this year.
Yeah, and I hope you played him while you could, because that's it.
It was every week except last week. You could play him every week.
He's the next Dalvin Cook.
Oh boy. Okay, what about James Cook? Where do you take James? Third?
3, 4. Yeah, I was thinking 4. Because he's got that Davis guy coming right up his ass. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how much of a command he's gonna have on that solo ship next season. Davis looks real fucking good. I see that turning definitely into more of a split backfield next year, which would be good for keeping Cook fresh and keeping him active. But I see him losing snaps to Davis next season.
God, it's so fun. Listen, I hope everybody has playoff leagues and other things that they can do. I'm really looking forward to our playoff league. Where we get to pick one player and positions. I'm very excited about that. I think that there's a lot to think about, and hopefully we've learned some lessons along the way. Remember, if you've got rules that you don't like, May, June, that's when you bring them up to your league. You vote on them.
Yeah, any structural changes, remember to bring those up early so you can get them voted on and implemented for the next season, particularly with waiver wire changes. If you want to move to FAH, you don't want to wait on that, and making sure that.
Okay, are you saying FAH because free agent acquisition bucks?
Yeah.
It's just free agent bucks. Fab.
According to who?
Me. Nobody says FAB.
Everybody says FAB.
Everybody says FAB.
Okay, moving on.
Please comment if you believe it's FAB or FAB.
Of very important points.
If you believe it's FAB, Team Scott. If you believe it's FOB, like a key fob, Team not Scott.
Thank you. Team Rational. Let's wrap this up. We've gone on too long already.
You're in the dark.
I'm in the dark. The sun went down like it's a whole nother day.
Well, you'll edit it in post.
No, I won't. You know I won't.
You better.
But I will say this. If we're going to final thoughts, I would just like to thank Derrick Henry for one. If this is the last great ride, I was glad to be on it. I was glad to be a part of it. It led me to one of my championships. And thank you, big dog. I'm probably going to switch over to the Scataboo train. But Derrick Henry, I love you. And what amazing season. Great move for you. Congratulations. And I hope you take the Ravens all the way.
Saquon Barkley, fuck Philadelphia, but I love you. I've loved you since Penn State, bro. I've been on your case. I watching you play this year was like a dream. It was everything I knew that you could always be. You finally were on a team that just let you be you. And if they didn't have a tush push, I mean, my God, I could.
Yeah, you'd have 30 touchdowns.
I can't imagine. You already are so great, and I'm so happy, and thank you. And I have pick number 1 in the Smoking Super Bowl League, and I am taking you, Saquon, and I am excited to do it. Thank you. But fuck the Eagles.
Yeah, for sure.
There's that.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Next year. What a season. Two more rings, 2 more trophies on the shelf for the Wilson. 1 more for you. You're catching up.
Oh, yes. Also remember, if you won and you get a trophy, that trophy is yours for a year. You can do what you want with it. You want to engrave whatever you want on it, you go ahead.
Also, keep in mind,
you just engrave
if you
whatever
win,
you want. You put
some respect.
Put the asterisks on your trophy.
Steward of it for one season. If you don't own it,
if the next guy doesn't like it,
take it and
he can take it,
desecrate
throw it out.
With
your desecrated it. It's yours.
You're not, especially if you're not even the highest
property.
Winning champion in the league. Then you absolutely shouldn't.
It's your property. Desecrate it. If the guy doesn't like it, make him win it and throw it out. Put it back the other way. Let's go. Congrats.
I'm still the only member of the 4-timers club in that league.
Hey, 3-timers.
That's right. That's right. I think
I should get one of those.
I left you some toilet paper in the bathroom.
I told you I'm bringing a bidet. I'm bringing a bidet.
Right. That's
I'm
right.
going to be there for a year, so I'm bringing a bidet. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Everybody who watches, I hope you have as much fun as we do, and I'm sure you don't. But congratulations to all the champs. If you have any questions throughout the year,
don't bother us because we won't be paying attention.
Ask me. I will listen to you.
That's true.
Greg
Scott has nothing
doesn't
else
care.
to do.
I don't have much. I've got a dog, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, unless my dog needs me, I'll get back to you. I'll get back.
Listen, I'm just hoping the Hollywood production scene picks up enough to where I won't be able to think about this all year. But until next summer, this has been Fantasy Football. Harsh reality.